Kira, Tina Koto, no mai aramai kitene koriru, ko Shaktipriya Balaji toko ingwa. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shaktipriya Balaji Ranganathan. I'm founder of Jix Reality, based in Otutahi, Christchurch. We create digital experiences using XR, virtual reality, augmented reality, to create an impact. So we started our journey right here in the Tipapa in the Museum Accelerator program at Mahuki. I'm going to talk more about some of the game theory concepts and user experiences, how we use it in our digital interaction. So how many of you here do play chess? Of course. So do you relate yourself with the game of chess in real life? Mostly like based on decision making and what other people will think and things like that. Yeah, cool. So so in theory, I mean, game theory is more into that. Do you watch Queen's Gambit? Netflix? Yeah, see, I've got my audience here. So perfect. So out of these, tic-tac-toe or poker, do you think which one is game theory? Okay. And have you heard about Prisoner's Dilemma? Yeah. So I don't need to brush on those topics. So I'm glad I don't want to go on with boring slides. So I'm glad I'm with the right audience. So all the above are classic real-life examples of game theory. The rules of the game are known, and both the players, the players don't change, and everyone has the necessary rules and constraint. And based on the rule, the decision making and interactions are limited, and it's not based on probability. So everyone is depending on other one's move. And game theory is also the process of strategic interaction between two or more players in a situation containing set rules and outcome. So game design is not a game theory. So how do we use? Chess and poker is more of a zero-sum model, and Prisoner Dilemma is non-sum zero model. So here it comes to how do we use these sort of concepts into our real-time application. So interaction design and win-win model and in augmented reality. So we have a set of players, or the people who interact with our system are the decision makers. The rules, we try to display the rules more intuitive as possible. And they have strategic space to be involved and make a decision, and payoffs in more of what is a monetary benefit or what they gain from this completing the experience. And that game typology, which is more simultaneous or sequential, or non-cooperative or cooperative games. Here is an example of how we applied it. So at beginning, when we started as a small startup with just a couple of people, we tried to pitch a project which is out of our scale and limit. So the local tertiary organization, which is ARA Institute of Canterbury, came to us and said, hey, we have a big trade show and a big booth to activate the space where we have thousands of kids come into the exhibition, and they want to engage them and also entertain and also give them more educational information about what they could learn from the institute. And initial proposal was, hey, can you put some head-mounted displays and VR headsets so that kids can come and play? And then we proposed, instead of we're not believing in just about we want to bring accessibility. VR is more of one-to-one, and you can't experience it in group. So we proposed something completely out of our limits and capability, actually, and we were really proud to pull this off in the first attempt. And we've never did the large screen augmented reality experience before. So that's the first experience of how we could deliver with a small team of just a 3D modeler and augmented reality developer, and it was me. We were just taking a shift and making sure this entire experience was running 2 days continuously without any break. And there are a lot of moving parts within this particular experiences. So this is a trade show. This is a miniature model of the trade show. We have audiences walking around the area, and we blocked out this cardboard right here. And we said to have more experience, more engagement only in this area. But we still have a lot of disturbance of people moving and talking, the noise, every other factor comes into it. But how can we bring the attention back into this activation and engage kids and inform them there is much bigger to study or be ambitious to reach to even to Mars. So literally we took kids to Mars. So there are sequence of events which triggered to this, and so there are also technical challenges that we were involved in designing this experience. So this particular cardboard is the piece of L and D, the length and the thing, and D is like the zone that you can't go into because we are having activations there, and we have people walking in between. So when you see yourself into a screen or mirror yourself into augmented reality, it's still hard. You still have people walking in between, and you still see their head. So how can we overcome that challenges? So what is the optimum or the theta, the angle in which the elevation you can look into the screen, and how far you can place yourself with the screen so you feel immersive, and also you can interact with other objects within augmented reality. So these different challenges were really exciting for us to solve, and we literally did mapping, and everything was in theory until we got the exhibition running. Then everything changed. The user got involved, everybody reacting to the situation, and they are forming their own story, and they are coming up with their own interaction, so which is exciting for us. In the top right of the screen, that's a trade show person from a different institute coming into our activation zone, and she's catching a kiwi bird. And down here, the student is actually playing with the robot which is doing a donut, and she's doing interactions with that. So, but these are not real. These are augmented into the real world through a large screen display. And we storyboarded in such a way that every interaction is unique and they enjoy it. So this particular scene is you have a space lander coming from nowhere, landing in the zone of landing in this zone, which is the D, that area, so that space is not occupied by any users. So we deliberately put some stones to place that so that people can't go in. So there is a real merge between digital and physical world into that zone. And we have astronaut coming out and actually planting a branded flag that creates a crack, and it's a cliff. So the image on the right side, a kid is trying to fall over the cliff and taking a photo. So these are interactions that user made themselves. We never thought they would react in such a way. And in the video you could see there's a lot of expressions, and they have their own narration of the story. So this resulted in we themselves, the set of players are the users. The rules are intuitive, animated, and instruction, so everyone knows what they do. And the strategic is the space. The space itself gives the large scale activation. The payoff is AR selfies and social media post. So more than 2,000 photos have been shared online, and the Twitter was trending at the time with Ara on Mars, which is a tagline, and the winner gets to have a Samsung phone. So there is a benefit to why they have to engage. So every time the kids come back and actively involve themselves, and even one kid did a somersault and got excited, and we never thought it would be this successful. What we wrote it in paper and sketches and in a theory, which is more of a cooperative game, but it came out successfully. And eventually, we used more of creative sense in bringing Hanmer Spring rocks, exhibition rocks, and lit them in red color to suit the the terrain. And we printed a vinyl with the real texture of Mars, and we had some cutouts where kids and the children can take selfies. So overall, it was a very good branding exercise. People could tell the story. They're not like involved in mobile phone or stuck with a head-mounted display. Rather, it's a group activation. Everyone is actually actively involved, and the engagement level was so high, so that the marketing team couldn't believe they got that much lead, because thousands of school students, they just walk in and they just go and do their stuff. But rather, this is the most busiest trade show in that entire career expo. So it resulted in win-win situation for a startup like us who wanting to pitch a big idea which is not done before, and same way the client having a trust in a small company with ambitious vision. So it worked out nicely well with us. So these are behind the screens and how we planned the experiences. So this particular experience is just based on astronaut coming out and waving and taking a photo with the candidates and planting some flag. And the small movements that we created with the rover, even like doing a post like this, made the children silly. Like they also started to make the post like this, and they started to take photos. So the second scene is rover coming out and being curious and watching out and turning the head right way towards the audience and doing a donut, and depends on how they are reactive. It does the interaction. And the image on the right hand side, that particular kid is actually reacting as if there is a dust and she is waving off the dust, because that is all recorded. Is her friend in the back, she's recording this live footage, so she can actually feel like an actor. And again, the other staff member catching a kiwi bird made it curious. So this particular storyboard is we have a lander and we have a kiwi with an astronaut suit, and doing some fun stuff with the astronaut, and also playing around with the children. So the active participation is limited. And these are other photos of children interacting with kiwis, and she's trying to touch the astronaut and having a pose. So this is the final result. Images like this appeared all over the internet with the brand on Ara and Mars. So this was this sort of work is more cooperative, and there is a payoff, which is the social media image and the prize, and simultaneously people can interact. And how from this learning, what we did is we took the experience and curated and built an app which is more of educational, more sequential and educational in terms of explaining the mission to Moon. So Indian Space Agency launched a mission to Moon program with quite a complicated detail. So we created an interactive app using augmented reality, which you can see it yourself. So you can bring the live space station and launch pad right in their living room. And it's not just about being gimmick. You also explore individual parts and what cryogenic engine it is and how does it involved in different atmosphere levels, and you can learn more details rather than just being fun or being a game. So this turned out to be more successful in terms of learning needs, and we always showcase this experience to to showcase how augmented reality could be nicely used in education, but also how to explain complex problem. It's not just about simple equations or stuff. Rather, how can we show them with quite thing. Next slide. Yeah. So again, this example is more of the set players are limited, but the rules are sequential, and playoff is learning and fun and sharing. And this typology is more sequential rather than simultaneous. So I've got limited things to show here, but you can go and follow our YouTube channel, which has more work we have done in using XR in retail applications, health and safety simulations, museum experiences, touchless interface. So we have done quite a variety of work, but due to time limit, I'm just breaking down the details of the large screen augmented reality display. And more than presentation, I would love to get some hands-on question and answer so that I can explain a bit more if there is any questions. So thank you so much thank you so much for listening, and I hope some information conveyed with it. Tina koto, tina koto, tina koto katoa. Thank you. Yes, Maddie.
Did the University Open Day 1, was that responding to the students' movements?
Yes, yes. So we had like different interaction design, which is and the timing is with the previous presenter showcasing what is capable and what is AR Core and AR Kit coming in 2018. We developed this in 2017. So sometimes technologically we feel like we have done something, but we applied to certain areas and limited to it. And we didn't have any. So the other interesting factor here is you can't see the camera anywhere in the screen. So there's no camera located anywhere around 10 meters. So that was quite interesting for a user, because everyone is surprised. Where am I? Where is the camera? Where is people recording me? How can I see myself into this augmented world? And that sort of a surprise and excitement is what made this experience unique.
Did you have many opportunities to do like practical testing for, like how you mentioned, some of the more niche problems, or did you sort of have to figure it out in diagrams and using finance?
So initially we tried to be creative. We went to a warehouse and we set up we tried to recreate the entire module in a completely bar setup. We had a bar downstairs and we were trying to move people, and we did try remotely because we couldn't get the venue beforehand. So it was just half a day for us to figure out the location, SLAM tracking, and the augmentation, and also the floor and how. So the last minute we couldn't merge the digital artwork with the floor. So the floor was in a different color compared to the digital artwork. So it was quite interesting for us to match and do that in the real time on the day of testing. Yes.
It's very impressive. I was just wondering how many people was on the team and how long did it take?
So this is a 4 weeks project. So we did it in 4 weeks. And the team involved was, actually we were doing our shift round the clock. So one of my staff members literally slept there in the behind the screen. So it was much dedication. We are a team of 3 people at the time. So a developer, a generalist, and design technologist.
I'm just interested in how you made the leap for starting with the company itself,
Yeah.
into a team of 3 and starting projects like this.
Okay, so the inception of Jigs started with me being a researcher in HitLab. So I decided not to write research paper, rather start building stuff. And I had a support from my fellow developer from HitLab, and we went out rogue in Startup Weekend. and got the bug. So that's how we started, and we end up in a really nice curated program at Te Papa Mahuki program, which gave us much more backing up and support. Yes.
So how do the installations communicate their interaction metaphors like on the user discovering them?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
So somebody discovers the installation. How do they does anything explain about how to interact with them?
No, there is no written instruction in it, but people are watching and observing what other people are doing. So we kind of like had like different levels. So we had like a live curator behind the screen who actually ups the level. Otherwise, they just like, based on the how many people are coming into the experience, we try to up, and we don't want to repeat the same experience. So sometimes it is random, sometimes it is based on their expectation. So it was more lifetime updation as well. Yes.
So what's the extent of the interaction feedback backing onto the screen? So for example, people picking up something, pushing the robot away, to what degree does your content react back to it?
It was more intuitive, I would say, because we tested that, we play tested that, but not in large screen, but we kind of use the floor to understand how much distance we have and what sort of motions they would do. Sometimes there are obviously people who breaks the rule. Someone wants to climb on the top of the stones and disturb the stones. So there's always a struggle with maintaining that red zone versus activation zone. But as far as the player is in active zone, they do get that interaction intuitively. Yes, Jerome.
Just on the side of technology, so you're using your AR, like AR Core or AR Kit.
No, we didn't use AR Core and AR Kit that time, because AR Core and AR Kit came after this project.
So did you make your own custom?
Yes.
Makes me wanna cry.
Yeah. So that's something we realized, because our association with the capability of the team, we could do it. But when, AR Core and AR Kit came in, life becomes so easy in terms of mobile augmented reality. But the second experience, obviously, we use AR Core and AR Kit for the mobile experience, but not for this.
Thank you, Shakti.
Thank you. Seven more minutes. Oh, yeah. Actually, initially my time slot was 15 minutes, so I prepared for that. But in same way, I don't want to bore everyone with game theory and the logics behind prisoner dilemma. Cool. We can still ask. Yes.
What went wrong?
Luckily, nothing went wrong. Nothing went wrong the whole time. No. That's what we were like really lucky on that part, because that's what I'm saying. We were doing shift, and my wife was actually doing one shift behind the screen. So we trained her to just to.
So everything was fine, but you weren't confident because
Yes.
you had someone sleeping there. Well, I mean, you wouldn't be, because that's difficult. You can't control anything that happens in that environment. So, the screen could have gone down and you stood up.
Absolutely. Even the slightest factor is even the angle in which the screen is placed. It wasn't decided just like 1 hour before, So we were negotiating with the tech team, saying, "Can you please bring it up and also get the elevation properly?" And they were not cooperative. And every time there is a hiccup, and we try to solve differently. To answer that, what we really did is. We programmed this to use a normal camera with resolution, but it didn't work because we couldn't place camera anywhere on the screen. So we used a DSLR camera with high caliber lens, and transferred the footage to RGB, and then reconnected that feed to the program, and Unity was able to handle that. So these are like real challenges which we would never explore. And there is obviously some software which can convert this to that. Last time, just $100, just buy that. Like the budget added on and on and on.
Yeah.
And literally, we didn't do justice for the project. It was a passion project, but the income that we generated is not worth it, because that risk that we have took and the amount of work we have done, we didn't even break even.
But you guys would have learned so much
Exactly.
from that experience, especially pulling it off.
Yeah, and also the confidence, that we got out of that. We thought, okay, we can do anything. That's the attitude which we gained from this work. That's why I keep presenting the very first work. So this is a very first work of Jigs. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.